Good morning, Ghana. You are tuned into News Magazine with me, Irbad Ibrahim, and my partner.
Abna Safo.
Today is World Teachers Day. We congratulate the gallant men and women all across the country that are serving in various capacities. Those teaching in state-of-the-art classrooms, those teaching under trees, and those teaching everywhere in this country. They say your reward is in heaven. And we hope that the reward will be commensurate enough with your hard work here on earth. And today we'll discuss the role of stakeholders in preschool management. And we have the proprietress of Elite Montessori School. She's in the person of Linda Ayayi, and she'll join us in the interview segment. But before then, we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, Abena will take us through the headlines. Do stick and stay with us. Okay, you're welcome back. Abena, what do we have by way of headlines today?
We've got a lot as usual.
Great.
And I always feel so excited to have a lot of trending news to feed our various viewers from the various news portals.
Okay.
Today, this is from Ghana Web. COCOBOD CEO salary slashed by 30%. Government rejects minority overspending claims.
I don't know how people will take the story. You know, when the issue of the former COCOBOD came up, Abena, when accusations of malfeasance were leveled against him, we were shocked to hear that he was earning about 2 or 3 times the salary of a certain president. And currently, as head of state, the president takes about 22,000 Ghana cedis every month. But the COCOBOD CEO takes 70,000 Ghana cedis. So that is a whopping amount of money. And therefore, to be able to sanitize the system, government is taking this robust step of slashing the salary. It could have even been slashed in half. So that the COCOBOD boss goes home with some 35,000. But now with a 30% decrease, he takes home anything between 45,000 and 55,000. So if it is meant to build confidence in the eyes of the taxpayer, I think is a step in the right direction. And you know that we get a lot of foreign revenue from cocoa. We were the world's largest producer until La Côte d'Ivoire beat us to it. So therefore, if we spend so much, I believe that it should go into helping people purchase fertilizer and getting people working on the cocoa farms.
Well, I think they will make good use of the money. Anyway, and this is from Ghana Web. AMA inaugurates toilet facilities for Independence Avenue schools.
It's a shame that in the 21st century, quite unfortunate, not only in schools, go to places where people are renting apartments, people rent into houses, and there are no places of convenience. And this takes a psychological toll on people, much worse when you are dealing with kids.
That's a basic need.
It's basic. So therefore, I believe that, yes, of course, the AMA is doing this. What about other authorities in various cities in the country? Every landlord or landlady or property owner that puts up a room or a house or an apartment for rent should be made to provide those places of convenience, basic facilities that human beings will need. And all schools should also meet, those requirements. While in the uni, those times when we're in university, there was a lot of congestion in some of the tertiary institutions, and people would have to queue sometimes.
That's
So
really
therefore, I
bad.
believe at all levels, the Ministry of Education should make sure it partners authorities like the AMA, KMA, TMA, or wherever they may be to provide such basic facilities.
The authority should take a keen interest in this issue
No,
because
it's
it's really
important
becoming
because
very,
one thing
it's
that
very
if you have a
important.
diarrhea, then you
Yeah.
can't be productive. If a child has diarrhea and there is no proper, clean, and sanitary place to attend the nature school, then it's an indictment on our reputation as a country. And so therefore I believe, and of course I'm also concerned about the situation in the police depots.
Yeah.
Police officers, they serve right from the position of Lance Corporal to whatever position. If you are not a senior officer, you live in the police barracks. And they live in, in single rooms. And when their pregnant wives even have to attend the nature school, everybody in the barracks gets to see this is where they are going.
That's so awful.
So therefore, at least
so awful.
for every police officer, the room should be self-contained. What has come to be known here, there is a kitchen and there is a very neat place of convenience.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that something good comes out of that as well. And the next one is from City. This one says, is from City News. Alliance for Development and Industrialization advocates for 1.5 billion livelihood programs for farmers.
Farmers, apart from doctors, engineers, and journalists, and everybody, farming is a reputable, profession. Yeah. And the basic thing every society needs is self-subsistence, and that is food security.
And I learned it's the backbone of every country.
No, if you don't eat, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a shame people consider farming, and I believe when Madam Nancy Yelpo was here 2 days ago, yeah, she mentioned that in high schools, when we punish students, we ask them to go and weed. So they grow with the notion that anything associated with agriculture is a form of punishment. And in schools, you ask kids what they want to be in future.
Everyone
there is this funny story. I want to be a doctor, yeah, of course. A lawyer. There's this funny story about a school. I'll recount this briefly. And the teacher asked the kids what they would want to be in future. People mentioned a lot of things. Then he asked them which one of them would want to be like him, yeah, a teacher. And we have Linda here. She's a very, reputable teacher. She will join us shortly. Okay. So a child raised his hand, and he was a loner. Okay. He was the only person who did that. So the teacher was so excited. There was a round of applause. At least one child, yes, under his tutelage felt he was a good role model. Then the child said, okay, sir, I'll be a teacher for a while. When I get a better job, then I quit.
Oh my days.
So it tells you farming, teaching, and all that. These are reputable, indispensable professions we need to respect, so that people will have the encouragement to want to go into them.
Okay. We'll quickly take you. I'm taking you to BBC now. We are done with the local news. This one is from BBC. Al-Shabaab founder barred from public office.
I think the U.S. has a policy of not negotiating with what they call terrorists. And Al-Shabaab was an offshoot of a precursor that was called the Union of Islamic Courts. Okay. And so the Somali state is saying that anybody who has played any role at any level in the evolution of such groups should not be part of the governance system. Is it a fair deal? Will it bring peace and stability? That is a question for the Somali people to answer.
This is sad. Okay, I'll take you to another one. This one says, lightning kills Ugandan school children. That's a sad story.
This is force majeure. Policy decisions cannot stop, disasters from happening. Yeah. These are acts of nature, Mother Nature. So therefore, we commiserate with the kids and their families. And Ghana is quite fortunate. We are not on the tectonic fault lines. We don't experience, earthquakes. We don't experience some of these major natural disasters. But one problem that is a thorn in our side is our cluelessness, so to speak, how to deal with floods. In Ghana, whenever it rains, people get scared. Yeah. When it rains for more than an hour, then important places, sensitive parts of the capital.
A normal thing in Ghana.
So I believe state and town planners should understand the topography of this capital city because it is congested. And buildings on waterways should all be pulled down. So that anytime it rains, the kind of people we lose, these are precious lives that need to be preserved. Yes.
So sad. And this is another sad story. This one says 259 people reported dead seeking the perfect selfie.
Oh,
I mean
selfies, this is... I'm sure we can even take one, but the selfies we take are not too deadly. I'm actually taking
I don't know what kind of machine they use it for.
You know what
the
people
selfie,
do?
Actually.
People take selfies because they want likes and comments.
Okay.
So if you took a selfie in the kitchen, maybe you would have 10 likes because that is a mundane and regular for people. But people want to do cliffhangers. Yeah. Standing at the tip of a mountain to take a selfie. Yeah. Or you are in a car and it is moving at top speed, you want to take a selfie. In fact, there have been instances where, you know, pilots in cockpits of planes have taken selfies while the lives of hundreds of people are taken to ransom, so to speak. So therefore, it's good to catch the fever. Technology is everywhere, but everyone out there should be careful where and how they take pictures.
It's sad. It's a sad story. And our last story for today says Uganda launches new condom for troops. Oh. Isn't this crazy?
This is a moral story. I have butterflies in my panties now because I feel uncomfortable. But in the army, just like, you know, in all security agencies, because of the stress, and there is heightened sexual activity. Okay. Nobody says don't do it, but when you do it right. Do it with your wife. And you remember not long ago, we had a peacekeeping contingent repatriated from South Sudan with the allegation that they were exploiting the vulnerabilities of the women over there. So you've been asked to go to keep peace, and then you are keeping something else. So therefore, if Uganda is taking such precautions, I believe is a step in the right direction. And abstinence, for me, is the best thing to do in such circumstances.
Okay, viewers, this is all we've got for you today. And I'm going to take a leave of Irbad, so I'll be back with comments from our audience. So keep.
So thank you so much, Abena. You can keep your comments coming on our various social media platforms, and whatever concerns that will be raised now during the trending news and also during the interview could be shared on social media, and Abena will join us shortly to share your views with the interviewee or the guest we have. Do stick and stay with us. When we come back, we have Linda Ayayi, proprietress for Elite Montessori School. Stick and stay with us.
Hello, lovely people of Africa. African Youth Time. It's the show, as I rightly said, that gives African youth the platform to have an up-close with living legends who are helping build the continent.
The youth of Africa, they have a lot of potential.
What is killing Africans is our inability to discover and identify our potentials and what we can do for ourselves.
Nobody makes you a leader. You become a leader.
We are not poor. The resources in Congo alone can feed the whole Africa.
nipa how ene ne da achenti e na abribia wo sori prayer hwehwe na hoto ahoto ne nso e ma prekope en kukuhwe ase ene wo how bebre ene wo mu wenti e na Kantanka TV ya hwehwe dwumadie foforo kra ya to din se edwaso nsem wo dwaso nsem dwumadie so ya baba kne dwadefo ne abusa wo mo how ene wo mama ne wo mo efa mu na empo se edaw bitai akira a wo de pre ahwehwe won da achen ahoto eno ti hia wo nua ba ama adwobi e wo Kantanka TV ne afa edwaso nsem enfam bro
Omaya nyame ehrayen se eba na efamagudi a yawo efamagudi asine oman bia se oman bia betu mpon so a ne titiri no agina abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu nanso Ghana oman a area ewo abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu onim se oman yi mu yawo nkrofo a akwadre ewo abodie mu nyansape ene nhwehwemu na wadwe akomo so ana de ebema oman etu mpon ene se yebeji de yetumi ye atum na yaji ye ho adi na yenya metumi aye honhom Ghana hia me Ghana hia wo Ghana hia ye nyina enti hia me afia asafo akantimpo e wo Kantanka exclusive dwumadie so na yendwene oman puntu we gonna chase those crazy
Bra Nyankopon bo ni wiase no wotena ase din hunu se niam wo bo ye nyina ye na adebon to aso ba akọ de hye nipa nsa ne awo ene se obi bewo ba wiase na kola na didem obi nso so eba wiase ansa na wabenya efa akwanhia mu enam saa yo so ma Kantanka television edi dwumadie sonko kura di eda so ne makosem ebrewo na dwumadie so ena obohu obi a ofuru kube ekote ebegina kwan ho eton saa nso na obi a nani afira na woye wo eye eho bibia obohu obi otete ahai ene de wono nso so eye samana wo mu nyina ani afira na yasan so ne atitiriw atwetwe nkomo afamprewanyi nsen awareja ye hu nsunsuaso ene nkwada a yede wo mokọ enkwaso ne bem wo hunu se abrabo na wo bono agia nso emu
You're welcome back. You can continue to send your thoughts and questions, so to speak, to WhatsApp line, which is 0242 817-239. It is boldly inscribed at the lower part of your screens. We are discussing stakeholder involvement in terms of preschool management in the Republic of Ghana, and we are privileged to have in the studio an actor in this industry, proprietress for Elite Montessori School, Madam Linda Ayayi. Linda, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me here this morning.
Today we are discussing managing a preschool. Before you start off, I would want us to go through what a preschool is. We hear daycare schools, we hear of nurseries, we hear of kindergarten. What is the difference between these different terminologies, so to speak?
Preschool actually is a combination of nursery and kindergarten. Recent times we are seeing the introduction of daycares, having children between the ages of 0 to 2 years coming to school as well. So preschool is now a combination of crèche, nursery, kindergarten. Yes. And preschool actually is we offer children education, early child education, and prepare them for compulsory primary education ahead of them. So preschool, we do so many things. Gone are the days that before you go to school, that is the primary level, you are asked to put your hand over your head, touching your ears, signifying you are ready to go to school. But now, science studies have shown that children are ready to learn at an early stage. Even right from inception in the mother's womb, they learn so much that we overlook. They listen to sounds, they see, they can move so much. So we believe if we touch or we tap into all these, we help the child to build something before they start this compulsory primary education.
And Linda, we hear spurious stories, some authentic, that in some schools you actually have to enroll your child while your wife is pregnant. How important is it that you register an unborn baby into a preschool institution?
My contribution on that is that most people may do that because of the quality they have about the school, that the school is good. So if I want my child to get admission there, I have to do it ahead of time, because I know most schools that you have to book in advance a year before you are picked, you are called for interviews. And so people may do that for such reasons, but it's not necessarily that you have to admit your child, put admission request in before even the child is born, because God forbid, what if you don't get your child?
Okay, but I believe such management decisions that are taken are true. They are not false. Do we have such schools in Accra?
There's no rumor without some amount of truth. So it's what I know actually is that people book ahead of time before they are even called in, because numbers are rising and schools are limited. In fact, good schools are limited.
Really?
So yes. So to get admission into the good schools we know of, the people know of, then it means you have to book in advance. That is what we know is happening.
I'll ask you this question, then we tackle the dwindling numbers of good schools, just as you've indicated. For a young couple, you are married, your wife is pregnant, while the child is in the tummy, put registration aside, would it be a good culture that during bedtime you read a book to the unborn child, or there is no studies, or there are no studies that point to the fact that that could have a telltale effect on the reading culture of the child while still unborn?
It's good to start early. It helps so much. Studies have shown that it helps so much. Before I go into studies, I'm a mother of two. I'll use myself as an example. We believe that during pregnancy, whatever you do, it has a toll on your child when the child comes out. So even during weighing moments when women go to hospitals and stuff, nurses tell them, if you like TV too much, cut it down. If you like doing, so things that are not healthy, you advise not to do it. So things that are healthy, you advise to do more if you want to see them in your child. So if you want your child to have an interest in education, you can be reading to your child, you can be playing music. There are times that babies move in their tummy when they hear the sound of music. So it prepares the child's mind to the world before the child comes out. Babies come out, they hear familiar sounds and they tend to it. That shows that when they were in the tummy, they were listening to all these.
So as daddy wraps his hands romantically on mommy's tummy, he can actually get books to be reading to the child.
Yes, yes, which is very good. It makes baby even gets to meet daddy before the baby comes out. So when the baby is out, there's a bond already.
And finally, on the biological side, there has been a lot of debate as to whether the maternity leave, which stands now at 3 months, I think, suffices for the well-being and growth of children we will still enroll in preschool. And do you have any opinions to share on that?
Yes, we mostly complain it's short. And so when it happens, you have to take 3 months, and your 3 months is due. Either you get someone to take care of your child at home, or you take the child to school. And the most important is just get to know the right place to take your child. Because at that tender age, it's a bit risky. But here is the case. I have admitted children as such in my school at that tender age, who came in as early as 2 months.
No, that is not healthy at all.
How
does a child bond with the mother, for example?
I'll get there. But this is a child, not even just a child. I have had about 3 of such, and these are children who have gone so well by God's grace and now are 2 years plus. That is why I said it depends on where you take your child. So what we do to help this bond is the companies give such mothers opportunities to close early. Secondly, they get the chance to, during break hours, is extended for them a bit. So they are able to come to the school if it's nearby to breastfeed. So the bond is still there. And we as caregivers, we bond with the children as if they are ours. The children don't really feel lonely because their mothers may not be around. We carry them behind us. We pamper them, we sing for them, we carry them just like a mother would do. The only difference here is breastfeeding maybe in a bottle instead of natural.
So that's natural connection.
That is if the mother is a bit far away from the school. But if you get a school that is a bit closer to your work and you can be able to access it early.
Even though this is a lucrative industry for you and your colleagues, as an African woman, would you advise that mothers should seek longer contact hours with babies at that tender age? I believe for those of us who were born 3 decades ago, 4 decades ago, and 5 decades ago, you would feel the warmth of your mother for months on end, and before you would even scent the fragrance of another human being. So why would you want your child to bond with other people and not yourself?
It's unfortunate, but that is what we are seeing now in our world. Things have changed. Children need to be taken care of. Parents need to be able to do that, meaning they have to work. And so working, and they are not allowed to take their children to the premises, they have to find a way of caring for their children, at the same time being able to provide for them as well. So it's not us calling for such shots. It's the unfortunate situation they find themselves in that is bringing up all this. But as I mentioned to you, preschool actually was for 3 to 5 years. But it's unfortunate things are happening now. The world keeps changing, jobs keep springing up, good pay, but no time.
For our viewers that fall within the youth demographic, some are graduates, early graduates, and they've put their wives on family way. Very soon they are going to give birth. So what kind of an adjustment would you recommend? That is, and some have even said fathers should also go on paternity leave.
It will really help.
So it doesn't become a burden on the woman alone to bring up the child.
Shared responsibility. It will really help. The child gets to have the mom for some time, have the dad for some time. Because if school wasn't in play, children would have ended up being with grandmothers and aunties or house helps. So to avoid, we know recent issues about house helps and things that go on in absence of mothers as well.
The video in Uganda, you saw the video that went viral.
That's not the only, many videos of things that can happen to your baby. But here is the situation. You have an institution whereby if there is a problem with your child, you can easily sue or go to. But here is the case if you have a child or a grandmother and there's a problem, either you have a problem with your family member or the little house help has to face it.
Okay, so now we are going into the topic right now. For higher levels of education, there is a National Accreditation Board that comes to inspect the quality of facilities before you start operating. With stakeholder engagement in managing preschool institutions, what are the criteria you have to satisfy before you start operating?
We have actually we have, because preschool is for nursery and kindergarten, social welfare takes care of the nursery side. Then Ghana Education takes care of the kindergarten side. So before you start a preschool, you are to register. If it's preschool from nursery to kindergarten, you have to register with social welfare. You have to register with Ghana Education as well. They come in, they inspect your premises. They will look out for classrooms for the children, where classrooms that are spacious enough for them to move about, for them to learn. So they check your classrooms, they check your washrooms as well. If they have places of convenience, they can easily access. And so modern days now, we bring Montessori schools, let's say, we bring things to the level of children, shelf sizes to their level that they can easily reach, washroom sizes that they can easily access. So when the child goes to the washroom, doesn't need the help of a facilitator to be with him or her, then a child can easily pick a puzzle from a shelf without needing door sizes, door handles that children can easily access. And so social welfare will come in and inspect all these things. Your play area, your classrooms, your washrooms, your kitchen, because you'll be giving them at least one main meal in the day. So they will be checking your kitchen as well. They will check teachers who are going to handle them, facilitators or educators as sometimes we call them. They check whether they are trained or untrained. You are done with all these things, even tables and chairs, because there are some designs that can easily injure children. So they check all these things before they can certify
the things in there should be plastic, instead of glass or anything with a cutting edge.
Cutting edge, not necessarily plastic. It can be wood. The only necessity is that it shouldn't be pointed, so that let's say children are playing, someone is about to fall, the child will not easily hit out of the pointed square size of a table or chair. So usually they recommend the round, either wooden or plastic, or they recommend the oval shapes and even the squares, the round edges, to avoid some of these injuries. The only thing is with wooden, in our country here, some are a bit expensive. So we are getting advantage of these ones being imported, the plastic ones being imported into a country that we can, most schools can afford and use.
On this note, we go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're still with Linda. Keep watching.
If you be a Ghana here air condition, if you say or shoe, you're using high sense air condition. Oh no, na guy. Say so dear, the gold-plated condenser pipes and I high sense air condition. And no stress, room up SCS. Still, none what they need in high sense air condition. Effect. Entry power, a wedjuma, not chilling. Also high sense air conditioner. You have 5 years warranty. Your professional installers and the member installer free. Available. 51st October, April 31st October. We're a high sense showroom here. Madam High Sense, Matitis Wamamuseo. F. So be far, not Toby Che. Afe Frey 0302 550000. High Sense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
Do you want to enroll your ward in a school where quality basic education, discipline and moral upbringing is our hallmark? Then come to Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences Basic School. Great Asas, Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences has vacancies in preschool, lower and upper primary, JHS 1 and JHS 2, with spacious and ventilated classrooms. The school also has excellent boarding facilities for students from upper primary to JHS. Great Asas also has a well-stocked library, a school bus that picks your ward from home to school and back home, with adequate security measures to ensure your ward's safety. Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences Preschool has state-of-the-art learning materials to make learning fun for your ward. We also have the Cadet Corps and a cultural troop to tap hidden talents in your ward. Locate Apostle Safo School of Arts and Sciences at Awoshi Last Stop, Accra. Great Asa!
You're welcome back. We are still with Linda Ayayi, proprietress for Elite Montessori School. You can keep your comments and questions coming via our WhatsApp line 0242 817 and 239, 0242 817 239, and our guest will gladly answer those questions later. Linda, you mentioned, on hazardous, materials that are kept around the children. And then for those that are that young, for facilitators to change diapers, what is the protocol? Is there a nurse on standby? How do you keep those diapers in good hygiene and all that? What is the arrangement?
With registering your school, one of the recommendations is that you have a first aid box, or you have a sick bay, depending on the size of the school, or you can have a standby nurse or doctor you can easily call on when there's an emergency. And so when we do change diapers for children, babies actually, when you get to a playroom, one of the things that you look out for are play toys that are safe to use, play toys that children can easily swallow in, play toys that a child falls on it cannot be hurt. On the floor, for instance, there are gums on the floor, mat gums, that when a child falls, there will not be injuries. We have cots in the rooms as well, where children can easily lie in when feeling sleepy as well. And so when a child, we have an inbuilt washroom. When a child poo-poos or diaper is full, we have a teacher and an assistant. The assistant either takes the child to the washroom to change. So the child is changed, removed, cleaned, put a new one on, bring the child back, then is disposed of. So those are some of the things we do to avoid, for hygiene's sake.
Okay.
Yes, to keep them safe.
We are not summarizing the whole show, but of the purpose that brought about the conceptualization of the idea of preschools. What kind of thinking do you think would have gone into it? Is it that children can only develop educationally when they start early, or there can be late starters that will shine later in higher education?
The need came, one, I would say, out of necessity. Things have changed. Gone are the days whereby we live in family settings, whereby your mother is there, your grandmother is there, auntie, in-laws and stuff. Your mother is taken off to the market or to town. She can leave her or him with someone in their house before going. So there was no need for schools then, for children as young as that. But now family settings have changed. Husband, wife, nobody else. So if children come in, who takes care of them? So the need came. Aside the need, it's also, science have proved that when children start early, it helps so much. It helps so much because at that age, children are adventurous. Children are exuberant. We tap into these exuberance, this adventure nature of children, and we play with them. Whilst playing with them, we are learning. So before a child goes to primary one, or let's say the primary, that child is so brilliant, can read, can write, can count, has good manners, how to relate with people. So this is what preschool actually is doing to our educational system. It's helping. You see the difference between children who have gone through the system and children who
Linda,
have not
these
had.
are some insights. I don't think this would qualify for an A-class, preschool setting.
No.
Or you think it meets the standards?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Not at all.
And so what is wrong here? Okay, there is a crawling child.
Yes.
So the floor is too hard, right?
Too hard. Too hard, a child can easily hurt. And too dirty. The baby crawling on the floor is picking up so much germs. The next minute you see this baby's hand in the mouth. So these are methods that can easily get these children to be sick. And some of the things I'm seeing there are too high for these children to reach.
So I think the purpose the ladies with them is to feed them, give them water and all that.
Yeah, and the children are many.
And there's a white lady
Very
in the
good,
background.
she just stepped in. I was going to comment, the children are many for just she alone to be with them. It's not safe. If something happens behind her, she wouldn't.
There are like 2 facilitators here.
Yes, please.
And then you can tell the room next to them could be a classroom.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the state-of-the-art classroom you'd anticipate.
At all.
At Elite, you have fully air-conditioned, you know. This is not yours anyway.
Yes,
we'll
I
soon
know.
roll pictures of your school.
I know.
So how do you compare this one, this setting, with the other one?
This is beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. Just that some of the things there are many as well. And children need to have enough space to move around. And so this is, look at the chairs with round edges, play mats on the floor, toys for them to easily reach and access. And so these are, you see the floor, no germs, no, it's not hard for a child to easily hurt. So these are some of the settings we are talking about.
Look, education has evolved.
Yes.
In our time, we didn't have any of these.
At all. Things have really changed.
In a technological world, I thought you would be giving birth to very smart children, not to warrant all of this headache.
If yes, we are giving birth to smart children, but if you leave it adamant, so we have to improve on it. We have to develop the smartness nature these children are coming out with. So preschool is just developing what naturally the children are born with.
Okay. And then again, this is the playground.
Yes, please.
You have any comments to pass on the facilities here?
Children are playing. These are grown-ups. Some of them are expected to move about themselves, know what to do.
So this is Elite, right?
Yes, please.
Oh,
they are
very
communicating.
Nice uniform. Okay.
Yes, our uniform is one of our hallmarks. They are communicating, they are sharing, and they are exchanging. They are picking language out of this. And so these are some of the things we recommend.
Okay. And
free area,
okay.
Big size for children to move about and play.
Okay. Linda, people will only do what you inspect and not what you expect.
Yes.
So when you are accredited by Social Welfare or the Ghana Education Service, are there sporadic, unannounced checks so that they make sure you stick to the standards?
Every year, and they can pop in anytime. They do that. Social Welfare, Ghana Education, they do visit you unannounced just to check whether you are keeping up standards. And if they come, and if they graded you initially, your standards were high, they come and see things that are now out of place, they can reduce your grade. So to avoid these, you always have to be on top of your game.
So what are some of the challenges you face as stakeholders in this industry? Challenges of proprietaresses like you, and challenges of facilitators. How are remuneration levels for the facilitator? Do you pay them well? Are they happy working? And do they risk hurting the children and all that? What are the conditions generally and the challenges you face?
We have challenges. Let me start with first. We are having challenges of parents not believing in preschool education. Most people believe that preschool is just, they are going to just sleep, play and come. They don't value what we do in preschool. That is one of our main challenges. So children get home and instead of revising with the child or asking what the child's day was like, no. So the child only depends on us. So although yes, we have the greatest credit hours with the child, because the child is dropped in early morning, father, mother goes away, picked up very late in the evening. So we are there for the child, stepping in as mother and father. So we do not just teach them, we train them. We teach them manners and values as well. And so we have that problem with parents making comments like, oh, they are now going to the real school. This one, they are just coming to sleep in. When it happens like that, it doesn't help us to get the best out of these children, because it's not a one-way thing. It should be both at home and at school as well. That's one of our main challenges. Another is we are gone are the days when preschool started. It was owned by mothers who felt like they could help with the challenges coming, so that other mothers would be able to go to work. So they were gathering these children. So most of them were not trained at all. But now, by God's grace, most schools and training schools have come. So it is being a teacher is not an option because you are not getting a job to do. You have to be trained. You have to go through at least some form of education, so that when you come into the classroom, first you will be able to understand the children, why they do what they do, and be able to think for them, help them, protect them, because we are there not just to teach them, but to do all these things for them. You understand? So one of the main things also is facilitators coming in, at least should not come in, they should have the passion, because this teaching in a preschool is a passion. It's not an option because you are not getting work to do. So another is also funding. We need funding because we need to expand. Okay. We don't need to just be in the urban areas, because when you look at it, you see the good schools, the big schools in the urban centers. But you go to our rural towns and stuff, you see, yes, you do see few schools here, there, but the quality is very low. They are lacking so much. But if preschool owners should able to access easy loans, easy help with schools, it will be easy to expand, take what we do here to them as well.
I'm passionate about funding as a challenge. I will take you into policy, decisions a little bit. Is it that, for example, Elite is a private entity?
Yes, please.
Are you under the wings of government? And if you talk funding, is it about raising letters of credit for loans from banks alone, or there's a way of partnering government?
For preschool, we do not have that at the moment that we can easily access. I know government has funds for schools, but for preschool, we do not have any idea of that.
So we don't budget for preschool as a country? In
fact, preschool, we are really not getting that recognition much. Currently, it's a private school, Elite, but we have, we are under social welfare, we are under Ghana Education as well. But parents are crying. There's no money in the system. So you can't put all the burden on parents through fees. They want the best, but it's been difficult having 2-4 children to be able to afford to take them to the good schools out there, because it's not easy out there. So for schools to be able to invest and be better than what we are doing, we need to invest, and it's huge. It's very huge, and if we are able to do this, we can't put all the burden on parents.
Okay, I'll ask Linda for recommendations as to why and how, and specifically, we can make the conditions of preschools better. We'll go for our last commercial break. When we come back, we lump that up with your social media interaction with us. Do stick and stay with us. Welcome back. You are still tuned into News Magazine with me, Rubadi Ibrahim and Abena. We've been having a very exhilarating conversation with proprietress of Elite Montessori School, Linda Ayayi. We are in, Education Month. Throughout this month, this particular program is meant to diagnose the challenges we have within the education sector from preschool up to the tertiary level and make recommendations to the Minister of Education and government at large to implement some of the policy recommendations guests like Linda have made. And we are now joined by my good friend, Abena Safo, with some of your messages on social media. Abena, you're welcome back. So what do we have by way of WhatsApp messages?
Okay, this brings us to our question of the day. This one says, do we really put into consideration our socio-cultural practices before taking up preschool initiative in the country and the continent at large?
So it brings us back to the idea of, is this African, or we are just importing someone else's culture?
Yes, we have imported, but it's a good importation we have done because it has helped to solve a situation which nobody knows how it would have turned out. It's helping others, and so if it's helping, why not copy? We've imported so much into our system. It's helping us to solve a situation that everyone is looking for solutions to. And so preschool is good. It's good. The only issue is getting the right place to take your child to.
So you think it is not an imperialist neo-colonial idea, as the texter is asking?
No.
Okay, Abena.
Okay, the next question says, having a child at a tender age striving to pick up 2 languages at the same time really helping the child. This is because we think a child should be brought up from the home or pick up the mother's tongue language first before going into school, or enrolling him or her into school. But this is something that this is what we find ourselves in now. So is this really helping?
Linda, I speak like 5 languages.
Wow,
good. 3 of them are international. None of them is my mother tongue. It's a shame.
It is.
So as you interact with the children, you speak English to them and maybe Chi. So if the child is Ewe, if the child is Gonja, if the child is coming from a Dagari family, for example, how do they pick up their mother tongue?
Yes, we have seen that challenge with some children. Some parents confused as to whether to start speaking English with a child at home or the dialect before coming to school. One good thing, you just have to be smart. One good thing that we are doing is that we speak all languages with them. We are grateful to have teachers. Some are Evers, some are speak Tree, some are Ga, etc., etc. So recent admissions, I've admitted children, parents come with the excuse, Auntie, he doesn't speak any language than Ga. How can you help me? And so for this, we interact with the child, sometimes in his dialect, if he doesn't understand what we say. And sometimes doing sign language, go and sit down or go and pick this for me, the child can easily understand.
Okay, back to you, Abena.
This is from Mark, from Kaswa, from Kosa, from Atunsu. I really like your program. Keep it up. The next one is from Alote from Osu. I think this is a very educative topic, which needs more deliberations. And then this is from Nana. This is from Nana Kweku Dankwa. I'm really enjoying the show, and I love the studio setup too. And the last one is from Osei from Soto. I think the topic stakeholders are not performing per the growth of modern system of education.
That's a very important concept. Okay, there's another one, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This is from Anas from Takradi.
Yeah.
I wish the program can be a project to champion its course.
Yeah, it is a project, and then with the help of Abena and the production team, and I guess we'll make sure that the right policy decisions are made. In closing, and we have about a minute, what would be your advice generally? And you can decide who to advise, whether parents or government.
First of all, I will speak to parents. I advise, we should change our perception about preschool. Thinking preschool, we just go there to sleep and play and come back home. There is a very common quote from the Bible that says that except the foundation be strong, what can the building do? So the foundation is necessary for the foundation to be strong. The child picks so much at a tender age. So it is necessary knowing the right place to take your child, because wherever you are taking your child to, what he or she is going to pick is very necessary. It can either help your child as he goes or retrogress your child.
Finally, this was sneaked in. You are talking about good foundation. Someone is asking, is Rich School and the preserve of only the rich? Even the name of your school says it, elite. So if my mother is a tomato seller or my father is a butcher, how can they afford something as elitist as this? And this in 30 seconds, if you may.
It's not for only the rich. My school, as you used as an example, I have different categories of people. I have teachers, I have bank managers, office workers, I have market women, masons, all sorts of people. As parents, we meet at PTA, we have equal share, equal contribution. It's not only a preserve for the rich. The reason the person may be saying this because yes, there are schools that look like they have only the rich as patron.
Thank you so much. Yes. Abena, today is World Teachers Day, and you are women. Women make up a chunk of the teachers we have in this country. So Abena, any sentence, word of advice and praise for teachers like Linda? And Linda too will wrap up by speaking to fellow teachers.
Okay, to all our teachers, we would say keep the good job doing, because I think without teachers we can't do it alone. So I can only say thank you and keep the good job.
Okay, okay, thank you. Linda, speak to fellow teachers across the country.
Today is World Teachers Day. I want to encourage all teachers to keep up the good job they are doing. First of all, I remember my teachers in the late Montessori. Without them, I wouldn't even have the time to be sitting here with the peace of mind that everything is going on well. So kudos to every teacher, especially women. Teachers are not just the ones we find in the classrooms. Mothers are teachers, fathers are teachers. So we should all be proud of ourselves that we are doing something good. We are really imparting something. You were taught by a teacher, I was taught by a teacher, the president was taught by a teacher. So without a teacher, we don't have our nation.
Thank you so much, Abena, my colleague, and also thank you so much, Linda Ayayi, proprietress for Elite Montessori School. So we come your way on Monday with another edition of News Magazine. Stay blessed and keep watching Kantanka TV. Goodbye. Okay, madam.